Hello, hello. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. So at long last, we're starting the live stream. I just did a little mini live stream too. That was, so now it'll be a little 12-minute video on abundance, healing your abundance as a river. So I hope you guys enjoy using it if you want to give it a try. I have heard that 12-minute videos are far less daunting to use than 3-hour live streams. So feel free to let me know if that's the case for you too. All right. So welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the March 2026. My gosh. March 2026. Triplet healing 1 of 3. Oh boy, thank you for my confirmation that you can see and hear me. I appreciate that. So we have a really cool theme this month. I'm looking forward to it. And the theme is safety, abundance, and peace. So it's kind of interesting because, you know, safety can mean a couple of things. Abundance, I guess, is pretty much one thing. And then peace. By peace, I mean peace of mind. So inner peace. Safety is interesting, you know, it could be literal safety. It could be also reducing anxiety and fear. So it could be perceived safety as well as literal safety. And safety and abundance, you know, if you have to pick one of the major 7 chakras along your spine, you know, that is for safety and abundance, it would be your first chakra at the base of the spine. So a lot of what we do in this whole month of healings will help the first chakra. But then peace, it is sort of a late addition to the theme. The angels told me just the other day to add it. Because some people's minds are so busy and clouded that if we don't add it, it's going to get in the way of creating the safety and abundance that we need. So it's sort of a necessary add-on. I mean, working peace of mind is always pleasant and helpful, but apparently it's necessary in this case. Which maybe isn't always true. Maybe it's just a sign of the times and all the chaos happening in the world right now that working peace will help people to, you know, working that inner peace will help. But I think it's always linked in a way that I will be explaining shortly. So I'm going to work, I'm going to talk about what we're doing today. So today, the first triplet healing of 3, we're going to do, what we're doing can be put into 2 main categories. Well, I guess 3, of course, because there's always the 5 essentials that we'll do towards the start of the healing. And today I'll do what I've been doing lately is sort of a more experienced version of the 5 essentials with a lot less explaining. So if you do need the explaining part, like what is grounding, blah, 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 I do have videos like that on my YouTube channel page. In the short video playlist, there are 2 different grounding videos, and you know, there'll be videos on all those 5 essentials that are more like explain. So today I won't do so much. But if you are a newbie, I still do love you. And if something is too confusing, you could post a question. And if I have time, I'll get to it at the end of the live stream, answer your question. If maybe I didn't explain something properly for you. But so after the experienced version of the 5 essentials, what we'll do today is the first thing is So we'll clear out group fear energy blocks from key places in people's energy system. I have 3 specific places in mind, and we'll see if there's any others that I need to do. But we'll clear out group fear energy blocks from your grounding. Specifically at the very bottom of grounding, I noticed that people tend to have the same energy blocks right at the bottom as everyone else on the planet. Not everybody does, but most people do. And so that messes with the sort of the purity of earth energy that you're bringing up and how sort of centering and cleansing it is if you're filtering it through everybody's fear. Yeah. So we don't want to do that. So I would suggest that you might not want to do that. So we'll clear it out of your ground. We'll clear group fear out of your grounding. But then also your foot chakra. So your foot chakra, it's interesting because it is near kidney 1. Kidney 1 is, the first point of the kidney meridian, which is a little more forward in the foot. But the foot chakra, when I say foot chakra, I mean the one there's a big energy center in the arch of your foot, which I don't think corresponds to a traditional Chinese medicine acupuncture point. Let's see the start of the kidney meridian. I don't think it does. Yeah, no. See, the kidney meridian right there, that's kidney 1 right there. But I'm talking about, the point I'm talking about is more in the arch of the foot. But, we might do a little kidney 1 unblocking while we're at it, just for kicks, since we're in the area. But anyway, so the arch of the foot, that foot chakra, that's another place. I noticed that people have group fear energy blocks that are similar to everyone else on the planet, which I think will be nice to clear so that, again, you're getting a more pure restorative form of earth energy up through your legs into your first chakra. And then the third place I want to clear group fear out of is I noticed the top of the 4th layer of the aura. So 4th chakra is heart chakra, love, motivation, self-love, motivation, passion, self-esteem, self-care, self-nurturing, lots of good things, compassion. So that chakra, 4th chakra, generates the 4th layer of the aura, right? 4 out of 7. And so up here, I noticed that people have group fear here too, and group sort of pain. And that can weaken some of these good karma windows back here, and basically weaken your boundaries, long story short. So I think if we unblock here, that will help maybe to sort of lift the mind a little and uncloud it. So we'll see. It should be nice. Anything you do that helps the 4th chakra is always a nice thing, because 4th chakra, the better it works, the better you feel, basically. So that's that, clearing group fear out of key places. So it would be at least those 3 key places, maybe a couple more we'll see that we clear group fear out of. And the other thing is somewhat of a new thing. We haven't really done it in this way before. So we're going to explore that your sinuses, right? All those sinuses, are they? I have a little diagram of the sinuses, if I can find it. There we go. So those are all the sinus cavities, nasal cavities, sinuses, blah, 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 all that stuff, right? So recently, actually, because I had a sinus issue, I noticed how much like invasive energy can come through your sinuses. And through like a weakness in your urinary bladder meridian Wei Qi aura, like the urinary bladder meridian, if we look at like this, okay, so see the yellow lines there, right, that start in the inner eye. So that's urinary bladder meridian, the yellow one right there. So urinary bladder meridian 1, that first little chakra is in the inner corner of your eye. And then urinary bladder meridian 2 is the inner corner of your eyebrow. And apparently urinary bladder meridian 2 and also urinary bladder meridian 10. Oh, yeah, 10 that's the one on the yellow lines at the lower points there at the base of skull, right before they branch off from two branches into 4 branches. That's urinary bladder 10, those little chakras. So urinary bladder meridian 10 and urinary bladder meridian 2 help the sinuses. Which is not a huge shocker because just because, like, you know, the chakras are right there, and so you're gonna automatically suspect that the aura for that meridian could be significant to your sinuses. And it's true. I looked it up. So, but anyway, so we're going to do extra repair of those points, UB2 and UB10, and also especially the aura that goes with urinary bladder meridian. So that Wei Qi aura that protects and nourishes the urinary bladder meridian. We're going to repair it extra in front and in back, you know, all over urinary bladder meridian Wei Qi aura. But I noticed that your sinuses, if you have that aura too damaged, and those points too damaged, then you don't have the protection that you need. You don't have the boundaries you need. And so invasive energy can go through your sinuses into like all your major joints, and your lungs and your first chakra. And, you know, it could impact you through physical sickness. It could impact you just through maybe heightened anxiety, you know, like a restless mind, you know, all sorts of stuff. So I think that'll be really nice to work, you know, protecting more, strengthening more the urinary bladder meridian Wei Qi aura, especially, and the urinary bladder meridian, especially UB2 and UB10 points. And just, you know, to see if there's already some invasive energy that's coming through the sinuses anchored into the major joints or the first chakra, and getting that stuff recycled, to kind of reestablish and strengthen your sinus boundaries, basically. So that should be cool. And I had seen that urinary bladder meridian, you know, like when the invasive energy comes in, it could impact your first chakra. And then I looked it up, and you know, even officially within Chinese medicine, an imbalance of the urinary bladder meridian is, you could have fear and anxiety as an imbalance of that meridian, the urinary bladder meridian. So it's always nice when official traditional Chinese medicine sort of agrees with something that I saw. Like, oh, that's nice. I mean, I'm okay seeing things that nobody else sees too, but it is nice to get validated like that. So that should be pretty cool. So it'd be sinus boundaries, basically, but it affects way more than just your sinuses. It affects, you know, your joints and your anxiety, or whether you feel courage or anxiety. And it could also affect abundance, because, you know, first chakra is abundance and courage and safety. So it can affect all aspects of that. So should be very cool. And yet another example of how if you are not going to do all the healing sets, which I think would just be easier if you have the money and you have the inclination, but if you don't have the money and or the inclination to do all the healing sets, use your intuition to determine which sets. Don't just go by the title, because from the theme, you never would have known that we were going to do a lot of work on sinus boundaries. So Just use your gut instincts or your intuition, or ask your angels if you're gonna pick and choose which healing sets to do. All right, cool. So, let's see. You believe it's March already? So I'm going to take a look at the chat comments. Let's see. Someone says, I saw that walkthrough video headline. The walkthrough shows up also without going to your page. Well, that's good. Hi, Janet. I can see and hear you clearly from Washington, D.C. Well, good. I'm glad. Hello, hello. So it says, ooh, you're finally here. I can see and hear you too. Yes. Finally, finally. We can see and hear you. Thank you. Hi from Chicago. We can see and hear you. 42 degrees Fahrenheit and cloudy, misty. Cloudy and misty. You took a page out of our book over here. Ironically, today it was not cloudy or misty. We had a gorgeous day, which I appreciated from afar. Beautiful weather for early March. So nice. So it says, hello, Janet. 4:49 a.m. in Qatar. Just had pre-sunrise meal and prayer here in preparation for fasting. Well, that's wonderful. I'm glad. Thank you for the hello. Very grateful for this theme. Yep. So it says, hey, Janet, I can see and hear you from windy Las Vegas, 59 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a nice temperature. Love the urinary bladder meridian topic. Currently sick and anxiety has been high. Well, we got what you're looking for. You're in luck. Someone says hello from Lake Worth Beach, Florida in the U.S. Nice and breezy, 74 degrees. Well, I guess that's why you go down to Florida, huh? Well. Oh, and let's do the country count information for kicks. I'll give it its own little title here. So for the geeky stats, in case anyone wants to know, for this healing set, all three healings, I'll be healing 141 people in 12 different countries. And that includes 107 people that are in the US, 7 in the UK, 8 in Qatar, 6 in the United Arab Emirates, 3 in Canada, 3 in Ukraine, 2 in Bermuda, 1 in Germany, 1 in Saudi Arabia, 1 in Israel, 1 in Japan, and 1 in South Korea. So hello to everyone that I'll be healing in this set of 3 healings. I am very happy to have the opportunity to heal you. Thank you very much. And to those of you who are watching who did not get a chance to purchase or just didn't for whatever reason, that's fine. You are welcome to heal yourself and watch and learn as much as you want. And of course, if I'm healing you, you could heal yourself at the same time if you want. You could live your life, cook a meal, ride a bike, whatever you feel like. Take a nap. All good. All right. Mm-hmm. So this is where I just finished my prep, and you can enjoy a lack of talking. And then the healing will start soon. Okie doke. Thank you for waiting. All right. So go ahead and unblock your hands. Set your hand chakras and your fingertip chakras to metallic gold color with your intention. Use that gold light being generated to heal yourself. Imagine your everything out in front of you, all your auras, your physical body, your astral body, and your groundings. Groundings connect you to the core of the earth. So make sure they're nice and wide as all your auras, all the way down. Somebody said in their survey, oh, you know, sometimes I've been feeling really good, and then sometimes I've definitely not been. And, you know, the one nice thing, he was like, well, you know, I didn't expect this journey of self-discovery to be easy the whole time, you know, and in that way, you know, I think that's a healthy behavior healthy attitude or outlook. But thing is, unblock your grounding. When things are going great, notice how awesome your grounding is. When things are not going great, notice how blocked your grounding is and unblock it with gold light. You know, something as simple as 1 minute of unblocking your grounding could really turn your day around. Sometimes that's an oversimplification, and you also need more of the 5 essentials that we'll be doing, like aura repair. But in the case of that guy, it was really just his grounding. He just needed to unblock his grounding, and then he would have, you know, gotten back that sort of momentum and clarity. So you might be surprised at just, you know, what you can do in 1 minute. So just imagine the blocks in your grounding. A lot of times they look like horizontal shelves or like flat stacked up rocks. And just use lots of gold light. You say, angels, can you recycle any invasive energies hooked into this junk? And then melt cords from people. And then melt all the blocks. Angels, can you recycle any invasive energies hooked into this junk? Melt cords from people. Melt all the junk. Indie grounding is where you double check the outer surface of your groundings as they go down, and you melt away any attachments from other people going into your groundings. So use gold light and melt away all the junk, all the attachments. So your grounding just goes all the way down, and that's it. No connections to other people there. A lot of people will try to hook their grounding into yours out of concern for you, which is kind of messed up because it makes your grounding work less well. And that's definitely not what they mean. They don't want to make you more anxious. So just go ahead and wash everybody out of your grounding and melt everybody's little concern connections away from your grounding. You can say too, hey, thanks for your concern. I'm fine. You know, hey, thank you for your concern. You know, as you melt their clog out of your grounding. All right, good enough. So aura repair. You have a whole bunch of auras. I mentioned in the intro that the urinary bladder meridian has its own aura. You have an astral body aura, a physical body aura, and then 15 that are for different meridians. So you have 17 auras. We're going to repair them all at once, so don't freak out. So just make a copy out in front of you of all your auras and just feel for cave-ins. Feel for gashes. There could be a place where like they're totally missing. One aura is missing and ripped away, or several. And it's nice to be able to determine that. And a lot of times it relates to something that you were feeling. Like maybe if your eye was bugging you, you could very often have, you know, a couple auras right in front of your eye that's just ripped up. And that's why your eye is bugging you. These invasive energies can get through real easily if your auras are ripped up. So you could, you know, focus on the area with so much gold light that it repairs, just that way, just combing through using lots of gold light. But what we're going to do is repair all your rips at once, right? So make a copy of a rip, representative copy of a rip, and just say, okay, this represents all the rips in all my auras. And the WoW version that you can do if you're at home in a safe and private location is just use so much gold light and just burn out everything that's not you. So burn out the hard objects that made the rips in the first place, burn out every person just with gold light, so that's fine. It doesn't hurt them. And just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way of this repair? And you just keep using so much gold light that the auras repair and the gold mesh spheres recreate. And everything recreates that should recreate. And we can do it also the non-WoW way in case you're, you know, out in public somewhere and you're doing it and you don't want to attract extra invasive being energy to yourself. It's similar, but you just use sticky gold wax instead. So you have a representative rip that represents all your rips. You say, okay, this represents all the rips I still have. And then use sticky gold wax instead. So sticky gold wax, fill up the rip with that, have the wax stick to everything that's not you, lift out the junk. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, lift out all the junk, including hard objects. Angels, here you go. So then use so much gold light. You can say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way of this repair? Sometimes I like to call these invasive beings that are in the way bowl beings because they form a bowl with their energy. They kind of glue their energy to the surface of the rip in order to like drain out energy from the rip that's leaking and also to block the repair. So they form like a bowl. And so you can say, angels, can you recycle all the bowl beings? But you can just say any beings in the way of the repair. But sometimes I like to call them bowl beings because that's what they're making. Energy. But anyway, just lift, you know, sticky gold wax, lift out all the junk. Angels, here you go. Angels, can you recycle any beings in the way of this repair? And just use so much gold light that auras grow back and the gold mesh spheres that generate gold light for those Wei Chi auras get recreated. Everything gets recreated that should be. That's a gold light. And then you can recreate your gold buffer zones, which are like flowy gold force fields that you make and attach to the edge of your physical body aura and your astral body aura. And then you just recreate those whenever you need to. So they slow the rate of damage. And you can do an extra, since we repaired all the auras now, actually, let's move on to creative rings. We did an in-depth version of creative ring work in the last healing, healing 2 of 2 of February twin set of 2026. And I like it. And I saw in the surveys that it made the difference for a lot of people. Some people it helped their sleep. Some people it helped their like less fogginess, you know, more focus, stuff like that. So creative rings are up here, 1, 2, 3. 3 gold creative rings, and they generate gold light, which creates a nice gold buffer right here. But then that gold light also gets sent downward to all your major chakras along your spine, which is really nice and nourishing. So just make a copy out in front of you of those creative rings. And rather than leave them all in a stack, what we did in the last healing is we spread them out. So we just, since it's just a copy, it's fine. You know, you can do whatever you want with the copy. So just separate out the 3 creative rings and then look at the undersides in particular, and just heal the undersides. Because sometimes the underside, it's just, you may not notice it as much on a spirit level. So it may need more cleaning. kind of like, you know, some back part of your fridge that you never clean. So, clean the underside of all 3 of your creative rings. Lots of gold light. You can spritz cold cleaning solution on the underside of your creative rings. Cold soap and water. And you can say angels if there's any invasive beings hooked into any of this stuff or in the way of any of this cleaning. Can you please recycle them? And sometimes invasive energy can come in through the creative rings down into some of your major chakras. So now that you're cleaning off your creative rings, it could be that there's some invasive energy already in these upper chakras that came in that way. That's kind of a little weird now. Like those invasive beings are weirding out. So you can just say, angels, if there's any invasive beings in my upper chakras, can you recycle them? And just take some deep breaths. And just center yourself in all your major joints, your shoulders, your hips, your knees, your ankles, your wrists, and your spine. And you can reassemble your rings if you want, so that the copy, so they're all on top of each other. And just check to see if the flaps are open. If the flaps are open, that's an irritated state. Like this would be an image of the flaps open, right? A top-down view of open flaps. So you don't want that. You want the flaps to fall shut. So it's just a nice smooth ring, outer surface. So just check for, there could be invasive beings cording your creative rings. So angels, can you recycle any invasive beings cording my creative rings? There could be people cording your creative rings, which is a really invasive thing to do. Some people, I guess, mean well by it. Maybe they're just confused, but other people maybe don't mean well. But you don't have to worry about their intention, just melt the cords. So that your creative rings can relax and fall shut. Sometimes you might have damage to your creative rings, which makes it a little too easy for people to, and invasive beings to cord. So if you have any like cracks or damaged, missing chunks in your creative rings, go ahead and repair them. Sometimes you can get damage just from extreme stress, like being through a traumatic situation. So just give your creative rings some extra repair in case you have any, traumatic situation damage to your creative rings. Deep breath, breathe into your major joints and your spine. All right, good job. So we'll do chakra repair. So this is what a chakra looks like, a really basic concept of it. It's just open cylinder, equally open on both sides so that you have maximum flow. So you can make an image like that of a chakra and just say, okay, well, this represents all my chakras, all my major and minor chakras in my body and my spirit, including all the cool acupuncture points, which are minor chakras, just because they're not the major 7, right? So lots of gold light, melt cords, repair damage, pop out hard objects and just have them explode. and repair damage. You say, angels, if there's any invasive beings in the way of this repair, can you recycle them? You can comb out the blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of from your chakras, and just use so much gold light that they melt away. Comb out the energy blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of. Use so much gold light that they melt away. Do more repair and unblocking. Our theme for these healings, safety, abundance, and peace. So you could have energy blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of, that if you clear them, that will help you have more of safety, abundance, and peace. So lift out the blocks in the way of safety, abundance, and peace, and just use lots of gold light to melt them away. Lift out any blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of right now in the way of your safety, abundance, and peace. Lift out those blocks and melt them with gold light. All right, great job. Okay, so back here stuff, right, which includes base of skull, acupuncture point stuff, and also the 5 auras that are most important back here to unblock, and the good karma windows, which are part of your astral body aura back here. So again, I won't explain as much. There are 7 good karma windows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are 1 per astral body aura layer back here. So just use gold light and imagine the windows and repair them. You want them repaired enough so that only you can use them. And how you would use them is to bring in, and you can also create a big red grounding for the base of the whole base of your skull area and the back of your neck, and have that grounding go all the way down to the core of the earth, a nice red grounding. And I'm going back to the good karma windows, repairing those. Sometimes the inner ones need more work. Like 4, 3, 2, 1. And unblock the back of all your auras, really. We could just unblock the back of all auras back here, especially behind the head and neck. Let the gold light melt all the blocks that are healthy and gentle to clear in the back of all your auras. So both behind your head and neck and shoulders, and behind your lower back, and behind your knees, and your feet and your ankles, your calves. I think to be most effective in clearing a lot at once, it's better to be non-resistant and just kind of zen about it and just chill out and not try too hard. And so just think about all the blocks, run gold light through them, and just let them melt. Think about the blocks, run gold light through them, let them melt. Think about the blocks, run gold light through them, let them melt. Let them melt as sort of automatically as, like, you know, if you've ever watched like a sunrise or a sunset and how it kind of fades out, you know, it just fades out very gently, you know? So like You imagine all those energy blocks behind you and just use gold light and just let them fade out, let them melt away. Imagine all those energy blocks behind you, behind your head, your neck, your lower back, your knees. Just use a lot of gold light. You could say angels if there's any invasive beings in the way of melting these blocks. Can you recycle them? And we can double check, especially those 5 auras, the astral body aura and physical body aura, and then the 3 auras that relate to the meridians that are back here. Those are the most key to make sure they're repaired, but really all of them back there need to be repaired, of course. At one point I had damage back here on 3 different auras that I wasn't checking because they weren't part of the 5, you know? And so I had these lingering weird feelings back here. It turns out it was 2 of the meridians that were like in your arms, you know, and one that went up the front. It was like CV and then PC and heart meridian. Wei Chi auras were like completely ripped up back there, but that was like totally not on my radar because those are meridians that, you know, I associate more with the front of the body. But the auras, you know, go all the way around and they have to be whole, you know, in order to protect you, you know? So anyway, so back of head area, especially check for those 5 auras, but really check all of them just in case. You don't want to be like me and miss a massive amount of damage in some auras that you weren't thinking about. And I mentioned during aura repair that the invasive beings, how they get in the way is they form like a bowl. They like glue themselves to the ripped up surface of the aura. So you just imagine using so much gold light. You can say, angels, can you recycle all the invasive beings in the way of this repair? Basically the bowl beings, I said. You know, they just kind of shove themselves, paste themselves to the sides that are ripped. So you want all of them to be recycled. Angels, can you recycle all those beings in the way? And as the auras grow back, make sure the the gold mesh spheres regrow. And if you need to, give yourself a little massage. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way? And blow up the hard objects in the way using gold light. Here are the auras and the gold mesh spheres. And the good karma windows, just imagine the blocks there and melt them away. You want you to be able to bring in your positive change in all directions. But, you know, if the good karma windows are unblocked enough, then the stuff you're trying to bring in here from behind, you can do it better. Imagine any blocks around the good karma windows. Melt them away. And there could be some group pain in your good karma windows, so just use gold light. And again, just kind of chill out, relax, and melt away that group pain from your good karma windows. All right, good job. Woohoo! So the 5 essentials are done now. But I want to do the clearing group fear blocks next, because that's sort of 5 essentials adjacent in a way. Because it involves grounding and foot chakra and the top of the 4th layer, and so it's sort of similar to what we were already talking about. So first we'll clear group fear from your grounding. And so, like I said, you have 2 groundings, one for your, I don't know if I said it, but you have 2 groundings, one for your physical body and your physical body aura, and one for your astral body and your astral body aura, right? So 2 groundings, and just imagine them out in front of you. Imagine the core of the earth. So not the surface of the earth, but way down, into the core of the earth. And just imagine like a really simple representation of any kind of group fear that is in your grounding. Or maybe it's like your grounding is hooked into that and not the core of the earth. However you end up seeing it. But it could be group fear like from your family or from a political party or an ethnic group or a religious group, or it could be group fear from, that's similar to everyone on the planet and not specific to a certain subgroup of people. And it will help your group, like if you are in a part of a social group or something, or a family or whatever. If you clear the group fear out of your grounding, generally there's a really positive ripple effect, and other people in the group in their own time clear it out of their groundings. And so then the other people in the group are more, have less anxiety and feel safer and are safer as well. But it's safest for you if you just clear it out of your grounding and then just allow people to notice when they're ready to notice. And copy you when they're ready, if they're ready. Okay, so just focus on your own grounding, and just, you can see it maybe like a stack of pancakes, all the group fear that's in there. And just use lots of gold light, melt cords from people going into the pancakes of group fear. Because again, you don't want to drag people along with you. You want people to notice when they're ready, right? So if you melt cords, that way it won't be like in their face what you just did. So melt the cords between these group pain energy blocks and other people. And then you can say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff? And there could be some agreements that you have, maybe to sort of suffer with everybody. But if you don't suffer with everybody, it can help other people in the group to not suffer as well. So, I would say it's a good idea to melt the agreements. But so if you could say if you have any unhealthy agreements, right, in the way of this clearing, and who defines what unhealthy is? You do. Your higher self, your angels, right? Not me. So just line up any unhealthy agreements that you have that might prevent you from clearing group fear out of your grounding. And then just say, angels, help me clear these. And just run a lot of gold light through your unhealthy agreements. And then go ahead and clear the pancakes. clear the visual representation of the group fear that's in your grounding. And again, you don't have to say anything to anyone else. That way they just notice when they're ready. Take some deep breaths, breathe into your spine, breathe into your major joints. So one more time, home through your groundings. Notice if there's any difference in how your body feels, how your grounding flows. And imagine whatever group fear blocks are healthy and gentle to clear out of your grounding. Just imagine them in some simple way, like, a stack of pancakes or a bunch of rocks. And use a lot of gold light. You can say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff? And if there are any unhealthy agreements related to these blocks, just imagine the unhealthy agreements and use gold light and melt them away. And then use gold light and melt cords from people going into these blocks. Melt those cords. And then you can go ahead and melt people's energy out of the blocks and melt the blocks, the group fear blocks out of your grounding. And breathe into your spine, breathe into your major joints, breathe into your auras. See how that feels. All right, good job. So then, so by your foot chakras, well, we'll do. So we'll do out of your foot chakra, which is a big energy center that you have in the arch of your foot. And then we'll also clear group fear out of kidney 1, which is a smaller energy center that you have a little more forward in your foot, which is feet. Here. So you see where that white dot is there? That's kidney 1. Red dot. So the big one is in the arch of your foot, right? And it's like this, like all energy centers are like this pretty much. So they just are smaller, a lot smaller. So you pull up the energy, you know, in through the foot chakra, it goes up the leg, right? So just imagine your feet chakra and do some basic unblocking and repair. If there are any hard objects, you can melt those away. Melt the energy blocks, blocking up your feet chakra. You want to bring up as much earth energy as you need at red. So go ahead, set your feet chakra to red color, I would say. I would suggest. And so imagine any group fear that you have blocking up your feet chakra in a simple way. You know, maybe they look like little pancakes, maybe they look like little crackers, little rocks, whatever. So just imagine the group fear that's healthy and gentle to get rid of from your feet chakra, and melt cords from people going into them. You say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And melt them away. Okay, one more time, your feet chakra, the big ones in the arch of your foot. Use lots of gold light. Notice how much earth energy can come up. And if you see any blocks, go ahead and melt them away. And you could have, like I said, group fear blocks that, you know, maybe everyone in your social group or your religious group or your gender group or your nation or the planet has these energy blocks, and it's safer just for you to melt yours. And that way you could start you know, set a positive example, but a quiet positive example, so that other people notice when they're ready to be inspired by it and not before then. So lots of gold light, and melt away the group fear out of your feet chakra. Melt cords going into the group fear from other people, so that again, you're not sort of doing this in a really ostentatious way. Melt the blocks, melt the group fear blocks out of your feet chakra. And there could be some agreements that are in the way, some unhealthy old agreements that you have relating to your feet chakra. So if you have any unhealthy old agreements, you can imagine them like stacks of paper and say, angels, can you help me clear these? And just melt them away with gold light from your hands. And again, check out your feet chakra. Lots of gold light. Melt away the group fear. Take a deep breath. Breathe into your legs. Breathe into your feet, your ankles, your knees, your hips, spine, your major joints. And we'll do kidney 1, those chakras too, that you see in the diagram, that first, the little red dot on the end of the orange line there on the bottom of your foot. And those are chakras. And they're just smaller than the big one in the arch of your foot, but still cool. And you can unblock those, unblock your kidney 1 chakras. Kidney 1 just meaning it's the first chakra in the kidney meridian, and that kidney meridian is the orange line in the diagram. So you can imagine them both at the same time, sort of as a composite copy, so it looks just like one chakra, or you can imagine, okay, this is my left one, this is my right one. If you want, it's up to you. But unblock them. Melt any group fear out of them. Angels, if there's any invasive beings in the way of this healing of kidney 1, can you recycle them? All right, cool beans. Woohoo. Okay, so 4th layer. So what auras have layers? There are only 2 auras. So I didn't really have to type out astral and physical because it's sort of, there's only astral and physical body auras that have layers like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why they have layers? Because each of your 7 chakras generates one of those layers, the aura. So your 4th chakra in your chest, which helps you with motivation, enthusiasm, positive attitude, gratitude, self-nurturing, all sorts of amazing stuff. That 4th layer, the 4th chakra generates energy, which goes out into the 4th layer, which then wraps around and goes back into the 4th chakra. So it goes in the back, then wraps around all around you, get back into the front, and then goes back. Right? So as it wraps around, it also goes above in the 4th layer, right? And you might have energy sitting right there in the top of your 4th layer. It's kind of like, pooping on the party, sort of, group pain, group shame, group guilt, all sorts of yucky stuff. Okay, and it doesn't help to suffer with everybody. If you clear it, it could help other people to clear it as well, which could help sort of brighten everybody's energy and help the group and help individuals, and it's a good thing. So just imagine your 4th chakras and imagine your 4th layers, both auras, and up top, the top of your 4th layers up there. And just notice any group fear or group pain of any sort that's up there, meaning energy actually you have that are very similar to what a lot of people. And just use lots of gold light, melt the cords from other people. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff? Melt everybody's energy out and melt the blocks. Breathe into your heart chakra, breathe into your spine, all your major joints. Again, check out your 4th chakras and your 4th layers and the top of your 4th layers. And find the group energy blocks. And say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And then use so much gold light, melt cords from people out of these blocks, melt everybody's energy out so that you can melt the blocks. Let them melt very gently, gradually, just like a sunset fades or a sunrise fades, just energy blocks melt. Notice if you feel any difference in your chest, you feel any shift in your thinking. Sometimes it's too subtle to notice consciously, that's fine too, but sometimes there is a noticeable shift. So one more time, up top of your 4th layers, find the group pain, the group energy blocks. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff? Melt cords from people going into these blocks. Melt the blocks. And just like the other areas, you could have some group, some unhealthy agreements that you made either in this life or a past life that make it harder for you to unblock up here. So you could just stack up any unhealthy agreements that you have that keeps this area too blocked, and just use lots of gold light and melt the agreements. You could say, angels, help me do this. Melt the unhealthy agreements that make it hard for you to unblock your 4th layer. Speaking of 4th chakra and 4th layer, and sometimes cute animals can help with that. Oh, here's a little cute animal. You're very cute. You're very cute. Yes, you are so cute, aren't you? You are so cute. Yes, you are. Well, usually. Always. Okay, so any unhealthy agreements that are in the way of you having a lot of fantastic 4th chakra energy and 4th chakra flow, melt the unhealthy agreements with gold light from your hands. One more time, throughout your 4th layer, just wash out, melt away any group pain, any group energy blocks that are in your 4th layers and your 4th chakras. And in case you need a little extra repair of your 4th chakra, either of your 4th chakras, you can check them out and see. Use gold light and just trace the outer surface there and just see if you notice any sort of snags or anything that doesn't feel right. And if so, maybe there's some hard objects, so you can melt the hard objects and then repair. You say, angels, if there's any invasive beings in the way, can you recycle them? So that was the front surface. You can spin around your copies and do the same with the back surface, the back round opening of your 4th chakra, which would be, back here. Check out that outer surface. Use so much gold light that you burn up the hard objects, you repair the damage. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way? And again, sometimes you can get damage just from a traumatic experience. So it's like nobody actually throws energy at you. There's no actual invasive energy that is aimed at you personally. It's just sort of through trauma, it kind of weakens you. So, but gold light can still repair that. So just go ahead and repair the back of your 4th chakras. All right. Good job. Good job. Good job. And you can unblock your 4th chakra rivers. The river flowing here to here from your fourth layer to your fourth chakra, and the river from the back of your fourth chakra to the back of your fourth layer. Unblock both those rivers. And wash out any group fear or group pain of any sort in these rivers. All right, great job, great job. Woohoo. Great job. All right. Okay, so rather than saying the sinuses can be a doorway to the lungs, the joints, the first chakra, we can look at it in the positive way that strong sinus boundaries helps your lungs, helps your joints, helps the first chakra, helps you clear fear, right? Because if you're more present in your sinuses, then it helps you to have safety there. And so then you can be more present in your joints and your lungs and your first chakra. So another kitten moment. All right. So I will put up the image of the sinuses in case you need that, but you don't really have to. I think for some people it'll help, for some people it won't. So if it doesn't, oh, not that one. Oh, well. Yeah. Let's, let's see. Hold on one sec. There we go. Okay, so sinus boundaries. So urinary bladder 2 and urinary bladder 10, which I did explain already in the intro. Okay. Sorry about all that time that took. But anyway, okay. So now let's really do it. For real. Okay. So I'm I'm going to take my glasses off for this part. So urinary bladder meridian, that's the yellow line in the diagram, right? And urinary bladder meridian, the first chakra on it, UB1, is right here in the inner corner of the eye. The second point is that second red dot on the yellow line, which is urinary bladder 2. That's your the second chakra of that meridian. So we're going to heal that one, and we're also going to heal 10, which is the base of skull, that bottom row, even with the bottom of the earlobe, the yellow chakras there, when it goes from 2 lines to 4 lines, right there, that's UB10. The dot right there at the base of the skull, the dot on the yellow meridian, that's urinary bladder 10. So we're gonna do both of those, urinary bladder 2 and urinary bladder 10. The first we'll do that, repair and unblock. And those chakras, they fit right in the meridian, right? These chakras, the job is not to like whoosh out the energy to some aura layer. The job is to just keep it within the meridian. So the chakra fits right in the meridian, right? And so, but it can get crushed really easily because these chakras are pretty tiny. So just use so much gold light that you uncrush. Urinary bladder 2. Urinary bladder 1 might be crushed too, so I guess we could do that one just for kicks. And then urinary bladder 10. Right there at the base of skull, that yellow meridian point at the base of the skull where it goes from 2 branches to 4, that's urinary bladder 10. So just uncrush that chakra. Unblock it. Use so much gold light. You could say angels if there's any invasive beings in the way. Can you recycle them? Just see how your back feels, because the energy of the meridian, it goes from here to here and then, back, and then it goes down your back. So, it could be that part of your back opens up a little bit better when you unblock UB10. So UB1 again. UB1, UB2, and then it goes up to the hairline, over a little, then it goes over the head, right? And then all the way down to UB10 at the base of the UB1, UB2, up, and over the head. And the aura for UB, urinary bladder meridian, has its own aura, just like all the regular meridians have their own aura, called a Wei Qi aura. And that's Janet stuff. That's not traditional, not strict traditional Chinese medicine, that each of those meridians have a Wei Qi aura. Something the angels explained to me. So just imagine that one aura that nourishes and protects the urinary bladder meridian goes all the way around you, just like all your auras, right? But it could be all scooped out, like right in the front here, right by your sinuses, or scooped out in the back behind your head. So just at the outer surface of it, see if it like, whoa, it goes in. Big valley there. Should not be a valley, but there could be. You can just imagine all the rips in your urinary bladder meridian, Wei Qi aura, and just, you could do the wow technique if you're safe at home. Just blast it with so much gold light. And the angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way? Blow up any hard objects stuck in there. Melt out other people's energy, the cords, just let it all repair. Let the Wei-Chi auras repair. Sorry, the gold mesh spheres repair. Give yourself a massage in the back of the skull. Nice red grounding. Sometimes when you're doing that kind of work, it does feel a little weird because maybe there's one invasive being that's kind of half in and half out now. And so just if there's any invasive beings that are half in, half out, making you feel weird, say angels, can you recycle any of those invasive beings making me feel weird? And you might have big chunks of energy like plastered up against your sinuses, like a mask, like a hard mask in that urinary bladder meridian Wei-Chi aura, or in the back, plastered up against the back of your head. So just check that out. And if you do, just angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff? People. So again, what are we doing? We're melting blocks that are like jammed up against your face and your urinary bladder meridian Wei-Chi aura. Messing with your sinuses or the back of your head. Lots of gold light. Just can you recycle any invasive beings in the way? Melt the cords from people. Blocks can. And again, check out urinary bladder meridian 2. That's the one right in the inner part of your eyebrow. Make sure it's good flow. Has good flow. And then also urinary bladder meridian 10. Right there, the yellow line, that point at the base of the skull. Unblock it. Melt out all the blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of. Melt out any group fear from there. All right, breathe into your spine, breathe into your major chakras. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your butt. And just kind of play with that whole thing of like, you know, your sinuses being a potential doorway for you to bring in good energy. That's the upside of it, right? If it's just you here, then you're all safe and you can just receive good energy this way. In addition to all the other ways you bring in new energy of yours. But if, you know, if it's not protected enough, then invasive energy can come in and through your sinuses and anchor into your major joints and or your first chakra or your spine. So just be aware, like have a copy out in front of you of yourself. Just think of your sinuses here and see, do you feel anything kind of coming in that way? And if you do, just kind of gather it up and see how far it goes down, like kind of experiment with it. Does it just go into your shoulder joints? Does it go into all your major joints? Does it go into your first chakra? And just freeze it all. And say, angels, can you recycle all this energy? And just take some deep breaths. So again, feel the energy in front of your sinuses and see if you can feel anything coming in that's not you. Like it could feel like ropes or string or like pieces of fabric. Kind of like solid but flexible. So not like fully solid. And then just notice how far does it go in? Does it just go into your throat? Does it go into some of your major chakras down, 4, 3, 2, 1? Where does it go? And just freeze it all and say, angels, can you recycle all this? Again, sinuses, check those out. There could be energy kind of plastered in there, especially in that urinary bladder meridian Wei Qi aura right around here and here. So check in front of like the sides of your nose. Unblock there. And if you have anything coming through there, just leave it there for a sec and notice how far does it go? Does it go, down to like the front of your major chakras? Does it go just to your shoulder joints? Where does it go? And just say, angels, can you recycle this energy? Just breathe and relax. See how that feels. Hmm. Oh, also, fun fact, UB10, the one at the base of the skull there, the yellow line, and then that point right at the base of the skull, that apparently it helps clear the sinuses, just like UB2, but it also brightens the eyes. So I always like knowing things like that because I think that vanity is like, can be a good motivator. Like, I know it's silly, but it's kind of lighthearted, to think of like, oh, if I do this exercise, my butt will look nicer. Or if I, I mean, obviously, like, for example, if you do strengthen your gluteus maximus muscles through doing squats, your butt looks nicer. But it also helps you balance as you get old, which is really important for like safety. But thinking about how it makes your butt look nicer may be like a funny motivation. So UB10, unblocking UB10 apparently brightens your eyes. So that's kind of a nice vanity thing. So I'll put that in the. So apparently UB10 brightens the eyes. If you want your eyes to look even more fabulous than they already do. Because sometimes, I don't know about you, but my eyes can look much brighter sometimes than other times. So apparently UB10 can help with that. So that's kind of cool. Maybe that'll motivate you to unblock your UB10 more often. Maybe. I love little things like that. Keep things less serious. All right, good job, good job, good job. So I'm going to look and see. We might be close to done because those were all the big things I wanted to do. So let's see. Oops. Hmm. Okay, so this, I think it's the last major thing that we'll do. And it's really easy. And it can help inner silence, so peace of mind. And also people that have misophonia, where like certain sounds can be disturbing in a sort of a disproportionate way. It's like sort of extremely disturbing. So you can have blocks, energy blocks in your energy system that cause you to have less sound boundaries, right? So that sounds affect you more than you would like, right? And it could be sounds like subconscious sounds, like people just their anger, maybe people on a spirit level are like yelling about something they're angry about, or they're talking about what they're afraid of on a spirit level, and you could hear that too much, so that it affects your own emotions and how you feel. Or it could be out loud sounds, and they're affecting you more than you would like. Say you work in a noisy area or you eat in a noisy area, you don't really want those sounds to mess with your peace of mind, right? So this can help with that. If you unblock within you, then it helps strengthen your boundaries so that there's less unpleasantness triggered when you are around either subconscious telepathic sounds or out loud sounds. Okay? So, and also, it can help you hear your angels better, which is really cool. And you can hear your angels both subconsciously and consciously. And obviously, usually people hear your angels subconsciously first, but that's still really important because it can affect your thoughts, and you can have positive thoughts that you think are yours, but it's really your angels giving you advice. So it's really nice to clear blocks affecting your telepathy, either making you overly sensitive to sounds or, blocking you from hearing angels, right? So we're just going to do it in a super easy way with blanket exercise. So let's do it. Okay. So just make a big gold blanket out in front of you and pile onto it copies of any inner energy blocks that you have that cause you to be overly sensitive to noise, either out loud noise or just spirit level telepathic noise from other people, from other invasive beings, whatever. Any noise, any inner blocks that cause you to be too sensitive to noise and not have good boundaries with noise, right? And also any blocks that cause you to not hear your angels as well as you would like, right? So put all those blocks that affect your sound boundaries out in front of you, and you can say, angels, can you recycle any invasive energies that are wrapped up in this stuff? So that way your angels clean it all out for you. So again, that request is, angels, can you recycle any invasive energies hooked into this junk? Right? And then you just have a bunch of energy blocks that may be corded by people. And most people don't know they're cording it. But just wash their cords off with gold light. So it'll be like a pile of energy blocks. Maybe they look like a stack of rocks or a stack of books. And just melt the cords from people and melt your energy out and melt everybody else's energy out. And as you do that, the blocks will probably start melting all by themselves. And if not, you could blow them up if you prefer. That's kind of fun sometimes. Or you can just keep using gold light until they completely melt. All right, good job. So we'll do that one more time. Big gold blanket out in front of you. Pile onto it copies of any inner blocks that you have that cause you to be overly sensitive to external noises. Any internal blocks you have that cause you to have less sound boundaries. Any inner blocks that cause you to hear your angels less well, right? All those blocks are out in front of you. Angels, can you recycle any invasive energies hooked into this junk? And then use gold light from your hands and wash out, melt the cords from people going into these blocks. And then melt the blocks. And just take a deep breath and relax as you do it. Don't try too hard. And if there are any blocks that are left over that haven't fully melted, just wrap them up in gold light and give them to your angels. Say, angels, can you help me with these? All right, good job. Woohoo. Celebrate with some butterflies. Yay, good job, good job, good job. All right. So we're going to wrap up in a minute. Okay. Okay, so we're going to wrap up, and these are the little things we're going to do as we finish up. So clear STEB, super easy. You just put copies out in front of you of any energy blocks that are still triggered, which I call stubborn triggered energy blocks, because if they're not cleared yet, they're stubborn, right? So just pile them up. And usually they're stubborn just because stuff is corded to them, so that it's complicated. So just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? And then melt cords from people going into these blocks with gold light from your hands. Just melt cords from people. And melt the blocks. Or you could blow them up. All right, one more time. Put any stubborn triggered energy blocks out in front of you. Angels, can you recycle the invasive beings? Melt the cords from people with gold light. Melt the blocks. Any are left over, just say, wrap them up in gold light. Say, angels, can you help me with these? All right, now legs are super important, right? They bring up earth energy through the feet chakra. We did unblock feet chakra today. So then you set those chakras to red, and then the red earth energy comes up your legs, inside your legs, into your first chakra, and then it goes out the back and down your grounding again. So your legs, it's really nice if they're unblocked, because it makes it easier for you to be present as a spirit in your physical legs. So we can use gold light and run it through your physical legs and also your astral body legs. And you can use imagine gold bottle brushes that gently but thoroughly clean out and unblock your leg channels. And then give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. And do your astral body legs too. Gold bottle brush. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. Sometimes you might have energy like group pain, group anxiety, group shame, whatever in your knees, in and around your knees. So double check your knees especially. You don't want any group blocks in your knees. So just melt all that away. Unblock your knees of your physical body and your astral body knees. You might have group shame in your knees. All right, and you can just unblock your ankles a little bit extra, unblock your hip joints a little extra. Let's see how that feels. And then your major chakras along your spine, we'll just align those just a little extra So 7th chakra in the top of your head. You have 2 7th chakras, of course, astral and physical. So just use so much gold light, let them pop into place. 6th chakra, 6 through 1. Round up knees in the front and in the back. You get your 7th chakra in the place you want it, and then line up the others to that just by running gold light through them, and they pop into place. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See how that feels. Breathe into your major joints. Double check your grounding. Make sure it's nice and wide and flowing. You might need to change the grounding color to one that flows even better. Test out your red groundings. Test out orange groundings. Test out yellow groundings. See which one releases for you better right now. Right. Good job. Woohoo. That's a healing. You're amazing. Yay. Woohoo. Ah. Alrighty, so that's a healing. So I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break. If you need one too, feel free. And then I'll turn the camera back on and I will do a moment of stretching or two. And just to remind us all that stretching is really helpful and important. Do regular stretching, ideally throughout the day, or just regular physical activity throughout the day, right? You can't just sit for hours on end. It's not healthy. And then we'll do a little brief chit chat. You can put in the chat if you want. I'll read out the chat comments as much as I have time to do. So you could put if you how the healing was for you, how you're feeling after the healing. If you have any comments about or follow-up questions about the theme or something I said during the live stream, you can put that. Alrighty, so I will be back in a minute and I'll get rid of the camera so you don't have to stare at an empty chair. Hey, I'm back. I'm gonna do a little stretching. If you want to, you can too, but don't feel they have to copy me. I'm not a pro stretcher. I'm gonna do a hurdler stretch now, but I don't want to change my camera settings, so you won't be able to see me for a sec while I do that. Hello, hello, hello. Okie dokie. Let's see. Looking for chat comments I haven't read yet. This is hello. Oops, no, got that one. Hey Janet, thank you for this healing. I had way more work stress than usual this week, causing panic and insomnia. I feel like my sister was in my space, but I also found my boss and coworker. I started feeling much better early today and feel calm now. Yeah, I think you had some aura damage. Did you try aura repair this week? It seems like you had a little bit of chakra damage and aura damage in the front. So let me know if you tried your 5 essentials and if they just didn't work or you didn't think to try them, which, there's no shame in that. Sometimes it's wild, it's like sometimes just it's easy to like not remember logical things that you could do to fix something and just think, well, it's a hard week, or whatever. Like, even though all about energy healing, so I'm not definitely not trying to shame you. I'm just curious if you had thought to do the aura repair and chakra repair and it didn't work, or it slipped your mind. But I'm glad you feel better now after the healing. That's wonderful. And started feeling better earlier today. I think you were just more open to your angels healing you earlier today. That's how it started getting better. So Someone says, I've wondered about sinus boundaries. Sometimes when I start meditating, my sinuses will clear up super quickly, suddenly. So this makes sense. Yeah, cool. Yeah, that is so cool. I mean, I knew sinuses were a thing, like an energy thing, because I have really enjoyed being able to eat more dairy ever since like I got good at sinus unblocking, like energy healing of sinuses and clearing invasive energy out and repairing all the auras in front of there and stuff. My tolerance, my ability to eat cheese has really went from 0 to like okay. Like I'll double check with my angels if I can, have pizza, because my husband will make like cauliflower pizza for us that we get from Costco, and then he puts extra ingredients on it and extra cheese a little bit. And so he'll ask if I'm pizza approved, for that night's dinner. And if you're listening, yes, I am pizza approved for tonight. I was not pizza approved for last night. Because sometimes my boundaries just aren't there. I'm already handling a lot, and then to have the cheese challenge on top of it is a little too much. And my sinus boundaries. But yeah, so I'm very excited to take the sinus boundaries thing to a new level with this, the awareness that the energy can come through and hook into, major joints or your first chakra or your spine or whatever. And so it gives me an extra way to visualize and clear out even more. And then the urinary bladder 2 and urinary bladder 10, that's kind of huge too. So I can't wait to make lots of trouble with that. And then how urinary bladder 10 helps brighten your eyes. So we'll see if my eyes become even more fabulous. I love that stuff. Using vanity to motivate you spiritually. But yeah, so I don't think it's so much about those coworkers. It's just you had aura damage and chakra damage, so it was easier for people to waltz in your space. Someone says sinuses, blah blah blah. Did that one already. Someone gives a little heart emoji. Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you. Someone says, thank you, Janet. I feel really alert, but a little angsty. I've had some back, neck, upper back tension, and the urinary bladder work helped lessen it. I got rejected from a job today and felt kind of down about it, as I had really tried to be myself in the application. My read on the job application process is that I need to keep working on 4th chakra, 4th layers, and work a new job / move river so that can figure out if I'm applying to the right jobs. Did I read that right? Well, I think first, just to back up a little, okay, so you got a job rejection, which, happens. It's going to happen, it can happen, right? And so the fact that you were more yourself in the interview, you were more genuinely yourself, is fantastic, right? And so that's an achievement, whether or not you got that particular job. The fact that you're more present, more authentic in your job interview can help you to find a job that is better suited to you, right? Because you're really being yourself. You're not, from the get-go, even before you get the job, becoming like a fake version of yourself to get the job, right? So it's not whether or not you get the job is not necessary. I can see why people might get into that headspace about, well, if you didn't get the job, then maybe you're not good enough when you're interviewing. But it could just mean it's not the job for you, but that, unfortunately there is a bit of practice, involved in that. I don't think your angels can just, have you go on the one interview that's going to be the magical one. I think, I think there's necessarily a lot of trial and error and learning through that. But I don't think, yeah. So So the question of, are you applying to the right jobs? It does seem like all your angels give you a thumbs up. So I just think that they're saying it's a way of, it's like they show me this big iceberg and that you have to get through the iceberg. And by not applying, you won't get through the iceberg. But if you apply, the more you apply, it chips through and melts through the iceberg. And then, you know, when the iceberg is gone, it's easier to find the right jobs and apply to the right job. But until then, there is this process where you might feel like, am I doing the right thing? You know, but it's like, you know, in dating, I've talked about in love life, sometimes there are appetizer men and sometimes there are entree men. And so the appetizer men, they are helpful for your learning, but they're not necessarily long-term compatible. So it's the same thing with interviewing. Maybe not for everybody, but your angels are saying for you, and it sounds pretty common, that, you know, there's a lot of trial and error and learning and evolving, and you clear energy by applying and by getting rejected. You clear more and more energy. So is there anything you need to do other than keep applying? No. I mean, other than normal healthy stuff, like, you know, don't sit for too long, you know, get up, do your stretching, do some walking, you know, whatever, like try to be active. Don't sit for, you know, more than, you know, try not to just sit all day. Even if you're at your work, try to, you know, get up and walk for a minute. Try to unblock your grounding, unblock the top of your head, but it's mainly just, you know, keep applying. Yeah, they give me a thumbs up on the keep applying thing. I think because you're like, okay, well, I haven't found the one yet. You're thinking you're doing it wrong. But it doesn't look like you're doing it wrong. So hope that makes sense. You could, as far as making the process more comfortable for you, that clear facades thing, if you look that up, I know you've used it before. If you search Janet Wright healing clear facades, you know, FACADES, facades as in false walls, for those that don't know, it just helps you to clear certain energy blocks that you may be sort of using to put up a false image of yourself. And it wastes a lot of energy, and that kind of stuff can be very triggered when you're applying for jobs. So it would probably be much more comfortable the more of those that you cleared. All right, so hope that helps. Someone says, this is, you're mentioning your brother's name, second healing. What did he like in the healing? Back-eyed head, clear eyes. Did you like verbally say that and then the cell phone just typed whatever? I think you, yeah, back of head, clear eyes. He only has vision in one eye. His diabetes affects his eyes. He gets a surgical procedure to relieve pressure behind eyes. Interesting. I wonder if he's ever done acupuncture to work that as well. It'd be interesting if you said which eye he has vision in and which eye he doesn't have vision in. I mean, you put that in the survey if you can't put it in now. But what was his favorite part? He actually thought the fourth layer stuff was his favorite. He just feels like he gets really weighed down by other people's expectations in his fourth layer and his fourth chakra. So he felt kind of liberated by that. A lot of stuff from your mom and your sister in his fourth layer and his fourth chakra. So thought that was nice to clear that out. But you did well. His angels are happy about it. As far as his UB10s, yeah, he has limitations though. Yeah, his whole UB is pretty constricted. The aura is repaired though, in front and in back, everywhere now. His urinary bladder meridian, but yeah, his urinary bladder meridian is. I think we've already done the healthy and gentle amount, but it's definitely a work in progress. His urinary bladder meridian is really constricted. But I've already done what's healthy and gentle, so I don't want to do more right now. All right. Somebody says, can you share what my angels are trying to tell me right now and how I can protect myself when I feel the energy healing aren't strong enough? I feel like people are draining me consistently. Okay, sure. Ideally, if you could put your first and last initials, that does help me. Like some people, I know their name based on, because I already know them and I know their YouTube IDs. And so I know their initials, so I know their name. But I don't know that YouTube ID. So if you could put your first and last initials in a YouTube comment, that could be a little extra helpful for me. But if not, that's fine. About the boundaries. Oh, you're mentioning. Okay, thanks. Well, a couple things. I will speak to what you just posted about you saying, I feel someone's consistently trying to use my photo or drain my energy. Constantly trying to use my photos to drain my energy. So before that, you just said, what are my angels trying to tell me right now? And the image I saw was that you have this protective instinct towards a couple people. Seems like adults. But I see you kind of like you have your arms around these people, and so it affects the strength of your heart energy and stuff. So if you could, it's up to you, but if you want to protect people, you can ask the angels to protect them rather than like huddling them within your energy field, because your energy field, it can only support you. I mean, if you have a young child, then you would have a first chakra cord to that child, which is support enough. But, it seems like you kind of huddle them around, and so you're like your heart meridian, your pericardium meridian, and your fourth chakra and your lower chakras, they kind of join with those people a little too much. So if you could just imagine the people that you love and you're trying to protect, just imagine, the angels, can you give them special healings and special protection? That way you can feel reassured a little bit and not hold them within your energy system, because that's not going to help them and it weakens your boundaries. But as far as like one person in particular, I don't know if they're consciously doing anything, but it does seem like there are 3 people that are. People hold a lot of subconscious resentments, and sometimes they're conscious of them. Sometimes they're subconscious. It's subconscious. And sometimes they don't know consciously that their resentments and their bitterness are actively sending harmful energy to someone. And sometimes they know, but whether or not they know, it doesn't really matter if they know consciously. The point is, it does look like there are 3 people that kind of have like a bitter sort of jealous, vengeful kind of energy towards you. So like I said, if you stop having those other people in your space, that helps. And then if you can imagine, because your energy is very much in front, and when I see these people, I see them kind of more like in the back, far back. So they're not in your space, but your aura gets really thin in back. Like ideally being centered would mean that your aura is equally strong and big in front as it is in back. So, you know, that expression of like, you know, sometimes people want someone to watch their back. Well, spiritually, we need to watch our own backs, you know? So if you can just imagine kind of centering yourself a little more and let your aura in back expand and be bigger, you know? And so that way, and so if you could focus a little more, like comb out with gold light and just let your aura in the back be strong. Because you're very focused, it's very much in front and not so much in back. So let it expand back here. And as far as those people, I mean, I have people that resent me and send me, you know, that type of energy as well. And, you know, it is what it is. I mean, the point is that if your boundaries are strong enough and you ask the angels for help, you know, angels, can you help me to have extra strong, healthy boundaries with anyone that means me harm? You know, something like that, you know, and just, I'm going to let my angels help guide me and protect me, that kind of idea. But say angels, not, you know, I'm going to let the universe help guide, you know, just, I would say angels particularly. Because sometimes people just, they accidentally let spirits protect them that are not altruistic. So I would just say angels. I'm going to let my angels help and guide and protect me, that kind of idea. You can imagine yourself and those three sort of vengeful people, we'll call them, and just don't do anything to them, but just imagine if there are any cords between you and them, and just, you know, focus the gold light right around your aura, not towards them, and just melt any connection that, you know, any energy cords that are in between you and them. Because then if there are no cords and then you keep your auras full and strong and repaired, then you're pretty much good, you know. And then just ask periodically, angels, can you please, you know, help and guide and protect me? And, you know, angels, can you help me have stronger, healthy boundaries with anyone that means me harm? So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I do see that. But you know, whether or not they use a photo, I have no idea. But I don't like to focus on what they're doing. Just more of the energy of, you know, is it affecting you, and why, and what can you do to strengthen your. So I hope that makes sense. Your grounding in general is pretty strong. It's just more aura stuff, I would say. You could do more aura repair. I have, like, in my short video playlist, I have an aura repair video, or just any of these live streams usually has an aura repair section towards the start. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, yes, thank you. Good. Alrighty. And you're welcome to follow along with any of these live streams. I do 5 of them a month. The next one is in 3 days on Sunday, and the next one is in 3 days on Wednesday. And then the other 2 are later this month. And the schedule is on my website, jwhealing.com. But you're welcome to, I mean, if you wanted to purchase healings so that I'm healing you during the live stream, that's fine too. You can purchase a set of healings on my website. But if you just want to, you know, show up for free and learn and heal yourself as you listen, you're very welcome to do that. All right. Someone says, thanks for the feedback about job move. The iceberg image really helped me understand. Thanks, angels. My angels were really trying to get me to understand they got to keep applying to jobs today when I was journaling, but it wasn't clicking. Still haven't had an interview yet, just application rejections, but this all makes sense. Thanks again. Yeah, it's a process. But you're doing the process now. Before, you were so resistant to you know, the possibility of rejection that you weren't doing it. So now you're doing it, and so you're in the game. You're doing it. So good job. Someone says, it's funny you said about cheese and pizza approved. Yes, Angel approved for pizza. I feel the same with feta cheese, but my test is with my throat rather than sinuses, so I will check for sinuses next time. Yeah. Sinuses includes throat, but yeah, it's a sinus thing. Because your sinuses are the ones that create all that mucus when they're irritated. They create extra mucus, and then you have, you know, and then it winds up in your throat. Someone says, also the part about getting up and moving too. I tend to sit around at night and zone out, which does not make me feel great. Yeah. You know, in the last healing, I linked these two different YouTube channels that have like health advice and stuff. And you know, there's so many YouTube channels that have health advice, but you know, it can get kind of like, okay, enough, you know, whatever, you know, just gets to be too much. But occasionally I find someone that what they say and how they say it really clicks with me. So that was the case with those two channels. And one or both of them was talking about getting up and moving, even just 1 to 3 minutes of movement, even just like walking in your house for 1 minute, you know, every half hour. And I've heard that before from our chiropractor. He says every half hour, get up and move. And he explained it more though. He said that like your brain and your muscles, they adjust to your default. And so if your default is sitting for hours, your brain and your muscles basically atrophy, and they get weaker. They get even weaker than they would otherwise because you're just not using them. And so your brain's like, oh, well, you know, whatever. You know, we don't need so many synapses and connections to the muscles, and we don't need such strong muscles. So if you keep getting up and using your muscles, then you know, you're telling your brain, yeah, we need these. Don't give up on them. Come on. You know? Because I guess muscle degradation is pretty much a default after like your mid-20s or 30s or something. After like you're 30 or something, like you lose a degree of muscle strength unless you actively build muscle, which explains a lot. So yeah. So sometimes if I don't want to get up, I'll cheat and just do the arm ones. Like if I have a cat on me and I don't want to move the cat, you know, I'll just do like, okay, I'll do like this thing. It's like a Y and then a T and then a W. I think I've done this before on a video, and it like gets your shoulders and your arms going. So maybe that's enough to tell your brain. I mean, obviously getting up is probably even better, of course, but I'll do this right now because I don't feel like getting up as I'm reading the questions. But yeah, another thing about sitting and zoning out at night. There was a video, actually both of those health channels, they were talking about, what's it called? Insulin resistance. And like after you eat, it depends on what you eat, but if there's a lot of like carbs or, you know, sugars in your food that you just ate, then, and not a lot of protein and fats, I think the fats slow down your absorption of the carbs and the sugars. But anyway, if there's a lot of carbs and sugars, then your insulin level, your blood sugar level goes up, and then you release insulin to store the blood sugar. And I guess the fact that you're releasing insulin, you would think that's like not a big deal, but apparently your muscles and your body doesn't like the insulin in some way. So it does a purpose, but it's also like not great. And so eventually that's how you can get insulin resistance, is if you keep in mind, I am not a doctor, so it's better to listen to an actual video of an actual doctor. But the point is, like, if you wanted to be physically active after a meal, apparently that's like extra good. You get extra bonus points if you're being physically active after a meal, like going for a walk or doing the treadmill or doing some squats after a meal, because then your body doesn't have to release as much insulin to store away the blood sugar because your muscles are using. And so your muscles are using up the sugar in your bloodstream, so you don't have to release as much insulin. So whatever, fun fact, maybe not fun fact. But yes, moving around is good and extra bonus points if it's after a meal, apparently. Bottom line. Bonus points. Bonus points. Let's see. Someone says, while listening to you, I walked. There you go. Ran and exercised on my treadmill. What a powerhouse for the last 30 minutes of healing. So it felt like happy synchronicity with what you were saying. Felt really good afterwards. Thanks, Janet. Wow. Very impressive. Very impressive. Yeah, because then you have your natural endorphins and everything. Your brain's happy. Your muscles are happier. And your chakras are happier because you just got the healing. What a great combo. That's fun. That's fun. All right. Somebody says, thanks. Stressful shift. I'm working right now. Am I in 7 through 1? You are. How did, and you're mentioning all these other people. Well, I want to look at why it's such a stressful shift, because I know the impulse is to be like, well, it's a stressful shift because of these external factors, right? But as a, energy healer of yourself, you want to look at how to, I would think you want to look at how to make it less stressful for you, right? So if I look, how's your grounding? Like in a more detailed way, the front of your grounding is more blocked than the back. The back of your grounding is actually really nice. The front of your grounding is blocked, like both sides of the front of your grounding. The front of your auras, you don't have aura damage, but there is something weird going on. So I'm looking for like major chords. Your 4th chakra, which is interesting, we did work on it, but yeah, I think that somebody dumped a bunch of energy in the front of your 4th layer. Like at the start of this work shift of yours. I don't know if you like, there's one position that's done and then you start working and they're just done. No, it's somebody that you're working with. But yeah, they dumped a bunch of their energy into the front of your 4th layer. I think it was like, okay, well, we have, you have to talk to all these people during your shift, or this is what's going on. But they had a very invasive way of updating you. And so it's like, boom, they shoved all this stuff into your 4th layer in the front. So just go ahead and, like gold sandstorm or something, and just get everybody's stuff out of your aura from that you work with. Just automatically just blend it all up in a gold light blender. Have it dissolve. After that, I think things would be a little lighter. Also your flaps of your creative rings are open. So I think there's no damage up there, but there's a couple invasive beings that are courting your, could recycle the invasive beings that are courting your creative rings. I don't know if you're going to hear any of that as you're working. But eventually you'll hear it. So creative rings, front of grounding, and unblock the front of your 4th layer from work people. But yes, you are in all your chakras. And you are moving forward on your path. How did all those people do? I want to look at their actual names. Well, the one that whacks everybody all the time, she did well, actually. Clearing the group fear out of her grounding helped more than I thought it would have. And the knee unblocking, clearing group pain out of her knees. And the sinus boundaries were nice for her. Yeah, she rocked the healing, actually. She really needed a lot of it. The son of hers that she's most worried about right now, he did well. There were several parts of the healing where we repaired extra because like trauma can cause damage just because it's traumatic. So that helped him, like all the different repair stuff that we did, chakra repair, creative ring repair, aura repair. So he seems, I mean, he's moving forward pretty slowly, but it's definitely an improvement. He's starting to like unfreeze his brain. So his angels are happy about that. And her other son, he did okay. He's got a lot of repressed emotional stuff he's starting to work through, but it's very slow going for him. But he is working with his angels on it. But it's kind of like he's reluctant, so it's slow going. But he's making progress. And then the person from your work that I healed, she did great. Yeah, she liked it a lot. And your spouse did great. He's rocking it, moving forward. Someone says, I think he can see. Oh, okay. Yeah, your brother can see with his left eye. Yeah, confirm it in the survey. It'd be interesting to see. It would make sense. His urinary bladder meridian Wei Chi aura looks way darker on the left side than on the right side. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, definitely. I'll make a note about his eye in my healing notes and just mention it in your survey. I mean, I guess not like, I don't think my healing can restore his vision or anything, but maybe since the meridian helps with many things, you wouldn't want to just, leave one branch of your meridian all clogged up and stuff. So it'd be good to know. Yeah, so let me know in the survey for sure. Someone says, I think you may have missed my comment or maybe not. Thank you. It's entirely possible. Oh, you know what? I hate that. YouTube shows me top chat as opposed to all messages. Like, why do I not want to see all messages? Not like I'm one of those huge YouTubers that has a million messages. Maybe someday. All right, so now supposedly I see all the messages, but we'll see. This shows me a lot more comments. Man, I'm so sorry, people, that I missed your comments. All right, so I'm going to go back and say a couple different comments that I missed because they weren't top comments, so YouTube didn't show them to me. All right, so the first one that I noticed that I missed is not the person that mentioned it, it's the person before that. They're saying, I was feeling demotivated to study today, but now going to study before bed. Oh, good for you. Panic studying at night is becoming common. Well, I guess studying is still studying. Need more grounding and clearing of first and third chakras and layer during the day. And clearing out cords from parents. I finally told them I'm studying for this exam when I was not planning to do that before, just so they won't keep asking me about it and set expectations. Yeah, your angel's like that. I'm not quite sure what you mean about panic studying. So maybe if you hear this, you could specify on your survey, what do you mean by panic studying at night? If I look at you and you're studying and how you could improve your studying. So part of memorizing is like, I would say it's fifth layer, 6th layer, 7th layer in your auras. So fifth chakra is inner voice. So saying it to yourself, right? The mind, inner voice. 6th chakra is seeing it. So visualizing, and also visualizing on a subconscious level. And 7th chakra is knowing something quickly, right? So 5th, 6th, 7th chakras and 5th, 6th, 7th layers, specifically in front, I think. So if you unblock those more and unblock 5th and 6th and 7th, I mean, obviously anxiety is 1st chakra, and, you know, maybe 1st chakra damage, or a block in your grounding or something, or you're not in your legs enough. But to beyond just not having anxiety, I think your memorization and your recall would be better if you work probably back to just all around your outer 3 layers, 5th, 6th, and 7th layers. Specifically physical 5th, 6th, 7th layers, and physical 5th, 6th, 7th chakras. Because your astral 5th, 6th, and 7th look good. It's more the physical body, 5th, 6th. The image, and sometimes I don't know if you have posture issues. I think most people do, but I don't know if you do. But like, if you can, like, try to think about having your shoulders back and your head up. Like, maybe if you study, you can't do that, but, you know, just when you're taking a moment and looking, you know, look up, put your shoulders back, put your head up, and, you know, make sure you occupy this 5th, 6th, and 7th layers fully, you know, and just, because the image is like you kind of bow your head, and then your family hangs out in these upper layers, outer layers. So stay clicked in as much as possible, you know, so just you know, every now and then just make sure, you know, just kind of lean back, have your shoulders, have your head up. You know, make sure you're here. Don't like bow your head and let your family kind of hover over you. No hovering. If that makes sense. All right. Your 3rd layer during the day. Yeah. I think 3rd chakra cords sometimes, and 1st chakra cords from your family. So yeah, just a little bit more unblocking here and melting those cords at 1st and 3rd chakra would be nice too. Like you said. Someone says, thank you, Jana. I am feeling lighter. I had a bunch of my sister, and you mentioned her initials, thank you, energy in my space, feeling like we've been in this astral war and I've been drained, which didn't surprise me when I got sick yesterday. My inner child wants to keep arguing, but I know better. I don't think bench communication or message flowers would help us right now. Seem to be at a loss. Thank you. Okay, I'll take a look too. I don't know if you've mentioned this before, but it seems like initially as children, you guys didn't have so much of an issue with each other, but like it seems like your mother kind of, I don't know if you're, like, I don't remember if you've mentioned that your mom kind of encouraged you guys to be competitive with each other, but it looks like that. So it looks like that's kind of what started the whole thing. Like, your sister is trying to be better than you so that your mom loves her more. Like, she has to win your mom's love. So she's kind of caught in this childhood thing. So I think if you can clear your half of that, like, okay, you don't need to play that game anymore. You don't, you're a grown woman. You don't need to get your mother's approval. I think that could help you with your boundaries with your sister. Because I think she kind of competes with you, and the competition is for your mother's approval. And it's like, well, why would you even need that? So I think if you can maybe just heal your heart chakra a little bit extra and just remind yourself, how old you are, and that, you're done competing for your mother's love with your sister. I think then that could really help, and then she can just freak out all by herself. I think your angels agree about the whole, you don't have to do park bench or anything with her. Maybe later, but I think at this point it's more of an inner thing where you step out of the childhood competition with her, and then it just doesn't grip you the same way anymore. So it really strengthens your boundaries with her. I hope that makes sense. You're kind of halfway there already. In the last couple weeks, you've cleared a lot of it. But if you could just do a little extra thinking about, why are you trying to compete with her? You don't just, remind yourself that, you can be done with that. You don't have to be better than her or, whatever. You don't need anyone's approval. I hope that helps. So as far as how you got sick, yeah, I mean, I think she was able to whack through a couple aura layers in the front. Like physical body aura, NCV, and UB. So those are really big for the front there. So then your sinus boundaries went away, and then it was easy to get invasive energy in. I think too, you do get a lot of germs through your sons, because they go to school and they go to, whatever sports things they do. And so there's a lot of germs that, that people get, when they're out in public, and, kids maybe more so because they're touching everything, and, the nature of children. They're little disease vectors. So I think only about 40% of it was because of your lack of boundaries with your sister, and the 60% of it is because you're a mom of 2 young boys. And I mean, if you had done aura repair maybe more, then that maybe wouldn't have. Maybe then it would have been a little sniffles rather than an actual sick. So yeah, maybe because you're a mom with sons, young boys, you have to do extra aura repair more than your average mom. if you want. Alrighty. So I think, oh man, another comment I missed. Jeez, YouTube is so silly. All right, so it says, thank you, Janet. This healing was so clever. Body healing that helps the spirit. Sinuses and UB10 was my favorite. Yeah. UB10, as they call it, the window of heaven. I was also enjoying the group fear work, 4th chakra areas. Yeah. I noticed even after that work, I was not fitted. So as you worked chakra alignment, I did some clearing my younger brother and father from my space. Yeah, well, they're a little triggered right now. Better now able to fit. Did I miss anything else? So just about your family members, you know, sometimes when you're more aware consciously of things that they're not aware of consciously and that they don't want to be aware of consciously, just kind of work, you know, make sure like you can heal your throat chakra a little extra and heal those parts of you that are trying to talk to family members on a subconscious level. Like you're kind of like, we could call it oversharing, you know, that you're telling people stuff that they're not ready to hear it. And you're only telling them on a spirit level, but they're still not ready to hear. They're still not trying to know. You know, they don't want to know. If they wanted to know, they would know. You know, so just imagine the little mini yous that are oversharing with your family members about, you know, information that you know and that they don't want to know, and just give those parts of you healings. And that way it'd be a lot easier to have boundaries with them because they're in your space trying to shut you up, basically, trying to get you to stop oversharing on a telepathic level. So if you heal those oversharing parts of you, that's going to take a lot of pressure off you. I think that's basically the main thing right there that you're handling is just, yeah. So just heal the mini yous that are oversharing with your family members. Hope that helps. So the other comments I did get, YouTube did show them to me already. I'm scrolling down, trying to find other ones that I haven't done yet. It says, while listening to you, oh no, I got that one. I got that one. I got that one. Let's see. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I did miss those comments, but I went back and got them. Someone says, if I may ask again, are there any themes for the now that my angels want me to focus on besides clearing? Yeah, I have a unblocked spiritual path. I don't know if I have a short video on it. I might. I should if I don't. Let's see if I do. I have a short video playlist on my YouTube channel page, and I'm going to check to see if I have an Unblock Your Spiritual Path short video in that short video playlist. Because if I do, that would be great. Because your angels would like you to work that technique that I have, the Unblock Your Spiritual Path. But let's see if I have one. Otherwise, you just have to do it. It'll be in many of the long healings, and so you just search Janet Wright healing Unblock Spiritual Path, and you can just do it as a part of a big healing. Like it'll be its own chapter. Let's say Unblock Spiritual Path. You know, I don't think I have a short one like that. And if I do, I can't find it right now. But your angels like the one that I did. I did it in I want to say it's the last healing that I did, the last big healing that I did. We did an Unblocked Spiritual Path. This one, it was like, yeah. Yeah, that was nice. Okay, so it's in the last one that we did. I'll link it. It was like melt away what's holding you back on your spiritual path, basically. So it's a whole chapter. What's it called? Yeah, imagine and melt what is holding you back. It's like a 7-minute section. That is good. See, if I had an infinite amount of time and motivation, I would totally make that into a short video. But I do not. So I will just post it here. So the chapter. Oh yeah, and we didn't so much imagine like your spiritual path. It was just like, but that's the concept behind it, is that you want to move forward on your spiritual path. So you imagine what's holding you back from moving forward and making progress. So they like that one for you. I like that one too. So I hope that helps. You said besides clearing? I don't know if that meets your criteria, but that's what the angels wanted me to say. So that's what I said. So hope it helps. Someone says, hi, hello to you. Great to see you live. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm live streaming quite late. Because I kept preparing and preparing and preparing and preparing, and it got later and later and later. All right, so let's see. Do I have any random life stories? Oh. My hair is, I don't know if you noticed, it's like got this kinky curliness to it. It's funny, if I spray rosemary tea on it, it curls up for some reason. Like supposedly rosemary tea is good for hair growth if you like spray it on your scalp, and it's like a moisturizing because it has, rosemary oil in it. So if you spray it on your hair, it could be anti-frizz. So that's why I did it. I made rosemary tea because I have a lot of rosemary growing in my garden, and I made tea from it. And I got these nice glass spray bottles, because like spray bottles that you can't see in them like that, like freaks me out. Because then I'm like, what if it's all moldy and gross, But so I got these dark glass spray bottles so you can see inside. So I really like that. So anyway, I got that for the rosemary tea, and I keep it in the fridge, and I spray it on my hair, and it makes my hair curl, which is kind of a funny thing. I didn't expect that part. So anyway, fun fact. Someone says, thank you so much, Janet. You're welcome. Someone says, looks good, your hair. Thank you. Yeah, it's a funny, I like it. Of course, though, if I do like a scalp massage right now, then my hair becomes like huge because it's all wavy now. And then for some reason, if I like massage my scalp, then it's like this big, like 1970s hair or something. But this is how I look if I just spritz it and don't touch it. But anyway, fun with hair. Let's see what else. Random life stories. I don't really have much. It is getting warmer though. We oh my god, we got so lucky. Our February, we had no snow in February. Usually out here in the Pacific Northwest, we don't get a lot of snow, but if we get snow, it'll definitely be the worst in February. But not this time. We got through the whole month with no snow. So exciting. Oh, that was so nice. So now we're in March 5th, and so far so good. It's pretty mild, so we'll see. The only downside of this mild weather is that the weeds in my garden are like, wee-hoo! The weeds are living their best life out there. Which, after a while I have to take care of that. But, and I can only do so much. But so that's the only downside. But otherwise it's pretty fabulous. Thank you so much, Janet. You're welcome. Somebody says, I've been using rosemary a lot lately. My hair has been feeling falling lately. Yeah. Yeah, about hair loss. Yeah. Yeah, so about hair loss. So I the rosemary spritzer stuff, supposedly that's gonna help. It might help. And, like I said, I have rosemary growing outside, so it's easy, to do. Spray the rosemary tea on my hair and my scalp. But then also I use do a supplement for hair, skin, and nails or something. I can link it below if someone wanted to look it up. It's like a little gel cap, of whatever minerals and whatever. And then there's a shampoo that I use. Like it's like bars, Humby Organics, Blueberry Fields, which used to really help me with hair loss. When I started using it, my hair loss went way down, but then it went back up again. And I'm still using it. I mean, it's really good though, so I keep using it, but I don't think it's helping as much with the hair loss as it did initially, which is interesting and weird. But the Humby Organics Blueberry Fields, they're like bars, but you use them for soap and conditioner. There's a bar for soap and a bar for conditioner, and they are really good and they last a while, so they're nice. But the rosemary spritzer, that helps a lot because the front part of my hair, I used to dye my hair like in some of the earlier videos. My hair is like purple and green and blue and stuff. And to make it that bright, they bleach it first and then they color it. And I think it damaged the follicles. So like the front parts that they used to dye, those parts get frizzy. Way more than the rest of my hair. The rest of my hair doesn't, as long as I use the Humby shampoo. But this part gets frizzy. But then you can put in a little bit extra of the Humby conditioner in after the fact, or but the rosemary stuff spritzing, that seems to do it too. So there's that. But yeah, oh, your hair loss went and came back as well. Yeah, bummer. I think the supplements maybe are helping that I'm taking. But it's like if you're doing multiple things, you can't really tell which is helping and which isn't. Found ground flaxseed and aloe vera. So do you make like a hair gel with the flaxseed? Because you can like boil flaxseed to make like a hair gel. But then do you leave it in? What do you do? Curious. Because I have flaxseed. Because sometimes I blend up flaxseed to put in like a health shake that I give myself. But I haven't tried yet flaxseed as a direct application. I don't know what that's going to do to my hair. I like the stuff that you can just spray in and you don't have to wash it out. Like the rosemary, I just leave it in and that's it. So that's very low effort for me. If I have to spray it in and leave it in for 5 hours and then wash it out, that's like, I don't know, I'm a little lazy for that. So if you want, you can post under the video what you do with the flaxseed aloe vera thing. Alrighty. Well, you guys are amazing. Izzy, I guess. Izzy, I should give an update on him. Well, I could. Don't have to, but Izzy. So Izzy is our senior beagle, and he's okay, but he's been having a prolonged intestinal problem. So we have to only feed him white rice and hard-boiled eggs, which is not super nutritious for him. So that's kind of unfortunate. But we're hoping that eventually he gets better enough that I can gradually give him his regular food. Each time I try to start back his regular food gradually, it doesn't work out and his intestines protest loudly. So, but we're hoping after a few more normal days, then I can like really tiny amount give him his normal food with the hard-boiled eggs and rice. So we'll see. But so that's what's up with him. But otherwise, no seizures. So that's good for him. And our 2 cats are fine. All right. So that's all the updates. Now you know everything. You know my whole life. All right. So I'll just put my website up. If you want to purchase healings or leave a tip, that's possible too. If you wish. Not expected or required, of course. And then my email address is janet@jwhealing.com. If you're a newbie, you're most welcome to buy healing sets if you wish. And then afterwards, you could email me and tell me who you are and say hi. Eventually, I would email you, though, if you don't email me. But anyway, okie doke, you guys are amazing. And on my website now are the March healing sets for later this month with the same healing theme of safety, abundance, and peace. And then April's theme is so delicious. I kind of can't wait, even though I really like the March theme. But I will be happy when April gets here a little extra because of the theme, which is discipline, focus, time management, and productivity. Which will be glorious. So anyway, those healing sets are for sale on my website for you and your loved ones if you wish. Okie dokie. Oh, and if you haven't given this live stream a thumbs up, could you please do that? Although if you're still listening at this point, I would think you probably already have done that. But if you haven't, I can give you a thumbs up. Maybe that will inspire you. Here we go. There's your thumbs up. You're amazing. Woohoo! All right. Bye. You're the best. Bye.